Burns.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. To discuss matters of life and death is to recognise the gravity of one's role as a Member of Parliament. The bill before us seeks to shorten the suffering of the terminally ill, those with just 6 months to live, no one else. For too many, death is not a singular moment but an excruciating journey of terror and agony as your body turns on you. But arguments that we must wait for palliative care to improve in our country are a logical fallacy. This bill does not prevent us improving our palliative care system, and contrary to what has been said today in this chamber, in evidence to the Health and Social Select Committee inquiry, Hospice UK said it would be totally inappropriate for us to suggest or even imply that hospice and palliative care services can somehow address pain in all circumstances. Imagine a situation where you have cancer that day by day is breaking every individual vertebrae on your body, one by one. There is nothing that can take away the pain, and that is the situation in which my mother lost her life. Her last words, "But I cannot go on like this." And thankfully for her, there were only a few more days of pain. But for others, there are months, and before they get to that 6 months, they will have suffered from years of excruciating agony that palliative care cannot resolve. But yes, we must improve it, and I will fight for those. Arguments that this is the beginning of a slippery slope is not reflected in the majority of legislators, such as Australia and across multiple states in the USA, where they have not been expanded. The Health and Select Committee again told us that where terminal illness was the basis, not suffering as per this bill, the law has not changed. Now, as a Conservative, individual freedom, choice and personal responsibility shape my decision-making until those freedoms cause harm to others. I do not see the role of legislation as being to impose moral convictions. It is our job to protect choice. Now, for those whose religious beliefs drive their arguments today, I will always defend your right to practice your faith and protect your own life choices. But supporting the choice of others does not diminish the principle of compassion. It recognises respect for individual autonomy. But to deny choice to others, especially those with only 6 months to live, where their personal choice does you no harm, is wrong. Now, turning to those concerned about the state mandating powers to decide who can and cannot live, judges already exercise this power. They end lives in far more complicated cases, such as those of children on life support. And on arguments around procedure, we all have to be honest with ourselves. This bill and this legislation has been read far more vociferously than most bills that go through this House. Most bills over the last 20 years have come to Parliament with far less than 14 days to consider. The Police Crime and Sentencing Bill, 6 days to consider 59 pages. Legal Migrants Bill, 6 days to consider far more pages. We have had sight for it for longer than any other bills, and the idea that a private member's bill is not appropriate is also wrong. Social reform comes through private members' bills. The abolition of the death penalty, the legalisation of abortion, the decriminalisation of homosexuality, all things I hope this House would unite on. This is the start of a process of debate, and it would be a tragedy if it was defeated today. And trust me when I say that I learnt early in my career that when you hear promises that things will come later, this is a promise that no action will come at all. The High Court made clear to my constituent Phil Newby, who has motor neuron disease, when he went to the High Court, that we must make this decision. For us to shy away from it, from those considering to abstain because it is so difficult, and I recognise it is difficult, we must not do so. So I ask colleagues to vote for this bill, to allow a long legislative process to proceed, and together to commit to shortening the suffering of those who are terminally ill in our society, because they deserve that choice.